some of the accusations and excuses that we get from a very small minority of people include things like, it's a COVID boat, we're just way too pedantic, and we were just really unlucky. And we've heard and taken this feedback seriously. So for this week's video, I found you an entirely new Leopard 45 that's also under warranty. This isn't the 2023 Leopard 45 that we showed off in a previous video. Baby dog! Instead, this baby is brand new to YouTube. I am going to show you how to submit a warranty claim using the new portal that Leopard Catamaran set up last year, and we're also going to start a new warranty clock so that we can track just how long this takes to process and eventually be resolved. It will be very interesting to see how that compares to our own experience, which was documented in our video, What is a Robertson and Kane Warranty Worth? You might ask why we would help such a lovely, genuine and honest couple get their warranty rectified expediently. Well, Leopard Catamarans already have a team that's meant to be coming out to Trinidad that's supposed to be fixing issues on our boat, as well as that boat, and maybe some of the others in the yard that are also under warranty. In the cruising community, and especially within the Leopard owners community, most people have each other's back, and an understanding that when you're living on a boat, which is an environment where you already face adversity from things like nature, economics, loneliness and isolation, the last thing you need is to face more adversity and indecision from two large businesses arguing with each other, with two offices full of people and possibly a legal team or two in the mix. So it brings us genuine pleasure to help people who are trying to help themselves and have the product that they paid for rectified so that it is a safe sailing home for them. Now with this boat, we actually found something that's a little interesting. I'm going to show you in a second, but before I do, something to know. From what I've been told from people who are in Cape Town, when Robertson and Kane, the boat builder of the Leopard Catamarans, do whatever quality control processes that they have, they use blue tape to mark defects, and sometimes they write little notes on it. So just keep that in mind. So on the Leopard 45, this is the water locker. Pass me the camera please, cameraman. Alright, notice the colour of those two tapes. So that 32 we put there. This other blue tape is a lot older. It's a little bit water damaged and mouldy. And it was not put there by the owners. It also has this note on it that says flow coat peeling, which, as you can see, it is. That tape is obviously old. It's been there a while. It's got the writing on it. The owner didn't put it there, so it seems like maybe that is from the factory, from when this boat was built. So if Robertson and Kane lodged this warranty issue to themselves, do we need to lodge it to them again, or do they just need to be sent a reminder? In today's example of how to do a warranty submission on this fresh Leopard 45, we are going to look at the separating bulkhead modules. That looks so fucking nasty to the left. So, sorry. Sometimes it's a bit of an acrobatic act trying to find things on these boats. But basically what we have here is a problem where the bulkhead module appears to be separating from the actual hull. It's in a few different spots, but if you look down in here, you can see two very good examples of the problem that we are lodging here. Zoom in, cameraman. This raises a question, because this bulkhead appears to have already been cracked and repaired. So why would you install a cracked bulkhead on a new boat? I don't know what's more shocking about this warranty claim. The fact that the bulkheads are actually cracking here, or the fact this is a warranty issue that we actually haven't had so far. Full disclosure, we warned Leopard Catamarans weeks ago that this submission would be coming, so you would think their response time will be optimized. To start off, I'm going to take a look at an email that we were sent with advice on using this new portal. As you can see, it says that within a single warranty form, 3 faults can be loaded and multiple photos. If there's more than 3 faults, best to load the faults grouped together by category. That whole being limited to 3 and having to log each fault, to me that's a system made by someone who is out of touch with how much can be wrong with these boats, and definitely had to have been done without owner's input. They also say that Robertson & Kane has the right to send a technician. Yep, I understand that, although I would say Robertson & Kane need to understand that owners have the right to record and document any repairs that they do. And it says that along with the fault and description, an estimate will be requested. So for the submissions today, we're just going to put in the faults and the description, log that, because my understanding is that within the form there's not actually a place to put an estimate. And then once this process gets started, then we can look at getting the estimate. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually not going to start with the bulkheads that we showed you. Instead, I'm going to start with gel coat. Now, with the gel coat, we went around the boat with the owners before they flew out, and we identified over 100 areas of concern. Now, these are not things that just happen through having a boat, you know, scratches and that kind of thing. Starting with the gel coat, because I have to log each gel coat fault, I can only log 3 per form, and I wanted to figure out how long this whole thing is actually going to take. So first part of the instruction is that it's best to access the form by going to the Leopard Catamarans website. So let's go for that. And scrolling to the footer to find this form. Where is it? There. Alright, this is going to take us to the worksheet. This is what we've always called these forms. We call them the worksheet because it makes you feel like you're back at school. The start point of this warranty claim submission is providing data about the boat. So I am going to block some of this out as I'm filling it out. This is going to get annoying if it doesn't auto-save in my Google profile here. Now we get to the actual fault section. So fault 1, claim type, warranty, category, gel coat. Okay, gone to G, that's GRP, that's, what could this be? I can't believe they don't have gel coat as a category. Alright, so gel coat is not an option here. So I guess the next best thing would be to go with GRP, which is the fiberglass. Right, so I'm going to start with the star gel. Oh god, it's a drop down. Okay. Bow. Excellent. Fail part. Bow. Part failure. This is interesting. What are all the options for things they think could go wrong with the bows? Wow, someone really sat here and tried to think of a lot of stuff that could go wrong. Crack. Fault location. Bow. Starboard. Does it require labor? Yes. Does this require a replacement part? No. Upload photos. Vertical cracks in the front of the bows, as well as some spider cracking. Add fault 2. Click on next to add fault 2, alright?
Five minutes later.
Clarify that I am human. I wish I could get a robot to do this. It would be a lot faster. There is an option to print, so you know what, I'm just going to print it to a PDF. Oh, it did save, good, it did save. Okay, so it froze for a second, but it saved. Made me verify I wasn't a robot again, and now I can hit submit. And then what happens? Alright, submission is being received. This is Leopard's new process. It is not the process that we used, and it's not the process that we agreed to use at point of sale. But we're going through it as an educational thing for new or prospective Leopard owners, as well as obviously to help out our friends in getting through what I think is going to be potentially an immense amount of paperwork. Now what I'm going to do is do another lot of gel coat, but let's time it. We'll take the timestamp from the start, timestamp from the end, see how long it took, and then we can extrapolate how long this might take to do all of them. So, alright, done. So, I will have to do this in post-edit, but here is the math on how long that one took. So extrapolating out, if you have to make 30 submissions that cover 90 issues, this is how long it would take. Now what I'm going to do is switch over to the bulkhead cracks. So there are 9 bulkhead cracks that I need to log, and obviously I can only do 3 at a time though, so let's start with the first one. So the first 3 were on the starboard side. Warranty. Bulk category. I guess this would be GRP as well. Failed part, bulkhead, cracked, further details of the failure, a section of the joint between...
The 7.5 minutes quoted before was for a relatively simple submission, but some are far more complex, requiring much greater description. It also doesn't take into account the time spent taking detailed photos and organising them for the submission.
I'm going to print it again, even though I almost crashed it last time, because I think it's really important to keep records, and I don't know if there's a way for me to retrieve this later. So, submission 2, and submit. Now to just do that 3 more times. I think that there should be a way that you can log multiple instances of a single issue rather than logging each one. For example, with those bulkheads, there's 9 of them. I should be able to say the fault is cracked bulkheads. There are 9 instances of it. Here are the photos for each one. Now though, it's a case of let's see how long this takes to address. Obviously I have a lot more submissions to do for this boat, but I'm not going to film all of them because I cannot sit here and even do them all at once. It's going to take that long. Full disclosure, Leopard were super quick this time. Their office responded to the submission the next day. They were forewarned that it was coming, but it's good to see them engaging in the process with the enthusiasm that we would expect. That being said, they did try to add a caveat, saying they were very busy after the hurricane, which I was a little surprised at because we already have who I think is the best gel coat finisher in the Caribbean on site at the moment, and apparently a new expert repair team coming to Trinidad for our boat anyway. We are about full disclosure, so other people can possibly avoid reliving the painful path that we've had to walk. Commenting, why don't you just litigate? It doesn't solve all the problems, and sometimes does not help at all. We know. We've spoken to people who have actually done it. Trent made Leopard Catamarans a final offer via email back in January as a point to negotiate to wrap up this saga in a constructive way for all parties involved. Despite what some may think, he has empathy for people who work at Leopard Catamarans and Robertson and Kane and are being impacted by the incompetent and short-sighted decision-making of certain people. He did this offer to put his friends, who are his family, first. We are not the yacht police. And while we enjoy helping good, intelligent people facing unreasonable adversity, and we've done much to highlight bad corporate behavior, we would eventually rather come to an agreement and let the next person pick up the torch where we left off if the poor quality control and toxic customer support continues. I will link this offer in full on our website so everyone can comment on what they think is right. Spoiler alert, it is essentially asking for a full refund of the hull and allowing us to keep the hull due to the work and expense that we've put into customizing it to make it our home. Why would we publish this agreement when it might be interpreted as us looking like we're leveraging a giant corporation, filling shareholders' pockets for an insignificant sum? Firstly, Trent is not happy with this amount anyway. For him, it's a peace offering. He believes that what has gone on, often instigated on purpose, is totally unacceptable and people need to be held accountable. This, though, must be weighed against the opportunity cost of fighting a lengthy battle just to make it right. The money gained is just not worth the time lost to him. He also does not want to see his friends dragged through this battle either, even though we are fully prepared to do that with him. Leopard responded a few days later with this email, but we have not heard anything about it since then. This was a peace offering from us to them. We have done more than any new owner I can think of to publicly hold the builder accountable, going further than anyone else has gone. Provided evidence that anyone with basic computer literacy could save and store, regardless of us keeping videos online. A message to all brokers, sellers and owners with these hulls. Don't blame us if this continues. We will not break, and this will not go away without some reasonable empathy extended for our suffering and what we've had to go through since this boat was handed over. Please read the email linked on our site below. How many hull sales has this already affected? Was it worth it to try and break 3 millennials that only engaged with this company to try and achieve a dream? Providing them the opportunity to make the situation right in a reasonable way felt like the right position to take all the way through this ordeal. And with the arrival of another new boat with new issues, you would think that it would dawn on them that doing the right thing is the only way out of this and that we stand for doing what's right. I directly asked Trent if he would go through the last 3 years again just to get the hull for free, and he unequivocally said no. I think anyone with a brain knows that that's truly how he feels. If you know Trent and you know how much work he put into getting this boat and what his background is, you would know that for him there is no commodity worth more than time, health and youth. For him, they are priceless. Earlier last year, we were verbally offered a lump sum to take down and stop all negative YouTube videos and a few other conditions, so a small cash offer was already on the table for censorship. A cash offer that, let's be real, most people would have accepted in exchange for their voice. We have the hope that the shipbuilder Robertson & Kane and their new owners, the investment firm PPF, has a serious look at our situation and that of other liveaboard owners suffering in a similar way after trusting and having faith in their shipbuilding abilities. By viewing a small sanitized, and trust me, sanitized part of what we've been through, we hope that they develop some empathy for the people and the families who are taking these boats across oceans and making them their home. It's really hard to come up with an agreement that makes it even okay to lose the last years of your 20s and the first years of your 30s when you planned and executed everything almost perfectly to be able to achieve a dream while you still had youth. We understand that there's not likely an amount of money that we would accept in advance to live through such a toxic and stressful few years, which has done so much to snuff out our positive outlook and has had a detrimental impact on all areas of our lives. We have all changed as people through this ordeal, and it's greatly affected our interpersonal relationships. Being under such stressful pressure while you have an entity that is constantly trying to find fault with everything you do, rather than looking inwardly at its own toxic composition. Regardless, in the interest of making peace, we reached out to Robertson & Kane's Shield, Travelopia, and their executive team. If a worthwhile agreement can't be reached in a reasonable amount of time, and they don't take the steps to rectify the overall situation, then I will be publishing everything. Complete full disclosure in the interest of educating others as to what risks you would take, how complacent you would be, and what trust you would be prepared to place in others, possibly leading to your dreams being delayed or destroyed.